All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we're going to hit top 3 articles that I think that everyone should be looking at, and we're going to talk about a potential telegraphing of moves, something that may be a hint to what is about to happen. Now, again, this is a really, really crazy turn of events that has happened in the last few days. Everyone is distracted. We'll talk all about it in just a second, so we'll be right back right after this. Just want to remind you, this show is brought to you by Energy. If you haven't checked it out, it is an Energy solar generator. This thing packs a punch. It is high quality, and it is one of the most coveted portable generators out there. On top of being portable, it can be expanded up to 96 batteries. This thing is amazing. It powers my entire studio off of 4 panels. Again, this thing has been an absolute lifesaver. If your power goes out, if it's the end of the world, or just a rolling blackout, across the country, which, again, they are telegraphing out, you can go to marfooglenews.com/energy and get yourself one. The ship date is coming soon. They were about 3 months out. Now they're days away from shipping out the first units for a while. Again, make sure to get over there right now. You can get up to $170 off on Energy products. Make sure to use the code Marfoogle. Thank you. When you do so, you actually support our independent channel. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. This is going to be a shorter video. We're going to try to keep this around 10 minutes to value your time. I understand that everybody has things going on. I do have Dex with me. Let me bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I am doing just fine.
So, first of all, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to the main part here is Vlad actually putting out the coordinates for the Pentagon and for NATO. We're going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about what people think when they hear that and why I think it is important. But first, I just want to touch on a couple subjects here. Of course, Vlad's Medvedev says that NATO's encroachment on Crimea could lead to WW3. We're going to cover this later tonight. We're going to talk about his comments on the live show over on our sister channel, Marfoogle TV. We'll talk about exactly what is said. And then, of course, Sweden and Finland are now cleared to join NATO after Turkey drops objections. So what made Turkey drop the objections? I don't know. Maybe a hand in the pocket. Who knows? But what is happening right now is Sweden and Finland are basically cleared to join NATO, and that is basically crossing the red lines that were set by Vlad. So a big deal. We'll talk about that later on the show. But I want to get to this, and Dex and I were talking about this, and we have a few ideas. First of all, let me read the title here. It says that Vlad publishes Pentagon coordinates, says Western satellites work for our enemy. Now, we've followed a lot of stuff, including a lot of drills and exercises that have gone on over the last few years, including a ton of military not only using highways for landing strips, of course, suggesting that they are practicing for an event where our airports and our airstrips are down or taken out to where they would need to use freeway. But there's also been a plethora of actually doing drills in the dark. In fact, almost every base has separate groups training for this in the dark training with no electricity, no GPS, no anything. In fact, a lot of soldiers actually want to be on that. We've talked to many soldiers in our group and many military, and they say that was the cool thing to do. You get to use night vision and do all sorts of cool night training. In fact, a lot of it is being done in the Northwest. They're renting out basically public parks, huge national parks to do these exercises with SEALs and Navy, Army. Every branch is doing their crazy nighttime drills. And then also the planes, military jets, and all sorts of military craft doing exercises without GPS and without the use of any kind of technology to navigate. Obviously, preparing for a possible scenario where they do not have GPS, where they do not have navigation, where they don't have the use of that. Now, Dex, first of all, is Pentagon coordinates. First thing I thought was, okay, well, you can get that on Google. you can just go Google the coordinates, right? You can just go to Google. And what I thought about is, yes, they know this too. My thought was that they're basically saying, they're putting this out there knowing that everybody's like, well, who cares? Anybody can get those coordinates off the internet. Are they saying that maybe that's the next move? What if you couldn't use the internet? What if you couldn't just go to Google to get coordinates? Are they putting this out for their enemies? Of course, all of their enemies could, of course, just go to Google and go to Google Maps and search this up. But what if they are telegraphing that will not be a thing in the future, as far as they've already threatened to go after our satellites and other things? Dex, what do you think? And again, you came up with an alternate idea about this as well.
Well, there's a couple of things going on. This is coming from Roscosmos, or basically the space agency there, right? And because of what they're talking about with all of the satellites that are basically working against them, they have made these threats, and we've covered them in our show numerous times, about how the first thing they're going to go after is the satellite technology. They're going to take out the satellites, and when they do, nobody will have coordinates. If they're successful at it, nobody will have coordinates to get anywhere. Which again, we've talked about training for that. And so for them to put this out, not just that they put it out, but it was the way they did it. It was like, hey, at the same time, and this is a quote, at the same time, we're giving the coordinates of these objects. So they basically published these objects like the Pentagon and the location of the NATO summit that's going on right now and other key landmarks. And they said at the same time, we're also going to give the coordinates of these objects, quote unquote, just in case. Like just in case you need them. Those are the longitude and latitude coordinates. Now, keep in mind, it's also been reported, I know we covered it a long time ago when this first kicked off, the UKR thing, that the Vlad's pilots actually used non-military GPS. They actually had Garmin systems and other things like that in their equipment, in their even in their airplanes. Some of the downed planes, they found GPS systems in there. So it just sort of tells you that they probably don't rely so much on their own navigational stuff as everyone else in the world relies on the main navigational system, the GPS system that the US put up ages ago.
So again, this is it. You have to understand that everything that is said kind of has a mind game to it. Really think about why an actual agency like this would release that, and why they would say it like this. Why would they put out the coordinates like this? It could be seen as kind of like this looming threat, right? Why are they putting out the coordinates of this? Are they saying like, hey, if anybody's out there and wants to go after these places, then go ahead? Why would they do that? To me, it really seems like they're hinting towards the fact that maybe you won't be able to use Google, or you won't be able to use Google Maps just to go get those coordinates. Because anybody that looks at this goes, anybody can get coordinates. Anywhere in the world, you can just go to Google Maps and find the exact GPS coordinates. Well, what if all of a sudden there's no internet and you can't? And maybe their allies or something have ICBMs that they'll need those, or But then again, you think like everybody has those. I'm sure they have those in their files and in their internal systems, right? So again, what Dex says makes sense as well. But I guess it's just a big question of like, why are they doing that? Why are they actually putting out the coordinates for this and for NATO and for all these different locations? It's creepy. What do you guys think? I would love to hear your comments. And again, I am in the chat as well. We've got Pam Fluherty. What's going on? Malaya Mom. We've got Chatter B, Kung Fu Grasshopper, PJ Carson, Pamela Gasper, Northern Girl Hobbies, Mark C, Lightman, Prepper G, and Katie S. So again, this is just a weird thing, and especially going off of all of the drills and exercises that we have covered over the last few years. It's just odd to me. As far as the other stuff that we're going to be covering tonight, essentially a lot of things just happened that just crossed red lines. Meanwhile, everybody is focused on what is going on, of course, here locally and here in Washington, D.C. A ton of stuff is going on where everybody is just up in arms. Social media is covering one thing after another that is not related to what is, truly going on worldwide. Now, some folks think that the stuff that's going on over there is a distraction. I think that it is a redistribution of power. Things are getting changed right now, and there are forces pushing on each other that are absolutely giant. So whatever side you may be on as far as these arguments going on down at our level and in our country, realize this is something across the planet that is being watched right now. So it's definitely something that we are following, and we're going to go more in depth on tonight's show. Dex, as far as Sweden and Finland being able to just be cleared and to join NATO, we covered that was an extreme red line. That's basically 2 more places right on their doorstep that are in NATO.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So I guess we'll have to see if it actually goes through. There was a lot of horse trading going on, so to speak, with Turkey, and it sounds like they've now dropped their resistance, meaning they probably got whatever they were asking for. So that now leads the door wide open for these other 2 countries to join if all of the members approve it. So that's bound to happen, because I can't imagine it's not going to move forward, since everybody seems to want that to happen. And that's definitely a big thing against Vlad, because Finland, for one, is right on the border.
Yeah, and it's right there. And I also want to put a couple things that we had from several Marfoogle family members and Mafia that are active and retired. We had retired U.S. Army say yesterday, of course, about the raised alert. 300,000 troops were put on high alert as far as that goes. And then another 100,000 being prepared, and there's already 100,000 U.S. troops in Europe. So there's a big kind of looming thing here, and most of us are trying to, I guess, look at the patterns and see what's going to happen next. We, with your help, predicted a lot of what was going on, and it's the group looking at the patterns of what is happening. They just deployed a massive amount of these supply ships. That is all public knowledge. Anybody, including G or Vlad, could see that they just left with all these supporting ships over the last few weeks. So there's definitely something going on here. So I guess the point here is, mainly, a lot of you still don't have any kind of plan if something was to go down. Now, I am hoping that nothing goes down, and I hope it never, ever reaches my shores. Of course, I guess I have more of concern because I live in Washington, where, of course, we are one of the biggest targets because of what is here. But it doesn't matter where you are. This will affect the entire planet if it does go down, and it is a higher possibility now. There's a whole lot of, I guess, things that go into this that make it a lot worse than even the previous times we've been at odds with Vlad. Now we have officially cut them off of all of these things. And remember, they aren't doing badly. They have basically it has hardened their allied partners with, of course, all of these other countries are now buying 6, 7, 10 times as much fuel from them. There's all of these different ways that they are basically cutting the United States out. And if you're in Australia or UK or South Korea or any other place that basically has always kind of been underneath the US's umbrella, I would definitely start thinking about just, what if things did go wrong? This is all going over current events from a prepper standpoint. So it's better to have a plan as far as talk to your kids, talk to your spouses, let them know, are we going to meet somewhere if something goes down that is unexpected? Have extra food, extra water. This is all stuff that we've talked about many times. So again, have a backup, have stuff to go, ready to go. Now, the odds that something is going to hit us or anything right away, very low. But there's always that chance, and we talk about it. If you're afraid, then you're skipping steps. You probably shouldn't be watching this content. Most people here are desensitized to this, and we've been following this every step of the way, so we're not going to be slapped in the face when something does go down, because we've been watching this for a very long time. Most of the people in my audience have been here for over 4 years. So again, make sure to go check out all of the different stuff over on marfooglenews.com. Make sure to head over to our sister channel and subscribe to Marfoogle TV. We're going to be going over more in depth on all of this and more over there. Thank you, Dex. I appreciate your help today.
Much love, brother. Good job.
All right, you guys, have a great night. We'll see you over on the live call-in show over on Marfoogle TV. We'll be back in a few.